Hi, this is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today, we're going to showcase a bizarre comic. It's called Cheval Noir, the Black Horse. This is from Dark Horse Comics. I'm not quite sure the year it is. And this is an anthology series. That means that there's a bunch of stories. None of these artists and writers I've ever heard of outside of this comic before. And this is issue 37, 295, USA. Mature readers. You notice that there's no comic code authority on it, and it's a hit or miss comic. I've been reading this and getting some of the later issues that I had missed when I collected this during its first run, and some of the stories I don't even remember. They were so forgettable, and some of the stories I've kept with me for my life. So I grabbed this issue as I was sorting through boxes because I just remember one of the stories that I love so much, and I'm sure the other stories I've forgotten. But let's take a look at the credits. Okay, Oliver Vatine, a lot of European. Mike Richardson is the publisher and owner of Dark Horse Comics. Okay, Terry Nutt. What year is this? 1992. Okay, so these are the stories. The Angriest Dog in the World by Dave Lynch. Yes, the writer, the director of Twin Peaks. The Man from the Siguri by Moebius. Okay, I'll talk about that when we get there. The Telephone. Oh, I remember the story. Clouseau and Jemison. I think these are all European. In Search of Peter Pan. This is the story that I just love. This story. This story's been with me for years. Okay, Rock by Starlight. I have no recollection of it. Conspiracy Theory. I have no recollection of, but it's because of the Search of Peter Pan story that I dug this out and wanted to talk about. I hate this, but this is the Angriest Dog in the World. This is David Lynch. I remember it was kind of people were upset about it because the art never changes. It's always 4 panels. The dog never moves. The only thing that moves is the dialogue. So where, R, we, echo, 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 park, park, park. Ta-da, that's the joke. I don't know why I like fishing hooks. I don't know why I like fishing hooks. There's something about them that catches my eye. So, I remember one of the criticisms said the laziest artist in the world instead of the angriest dog in the world. Okay, this is French artist. Why can't I remember his real name? But Moebius. Moebius was famous for the Airtight Garage. The Airtight Garage was a concept that he came. It was a planet that was an artificial planet, and there was layers upon layers upon layers. I don't know exactly how many. So like level 1 was like all filth, then you could make it to level 2 and it was a little better, and one of the levels, like the surface level, was just a desert, and then I think there was even layers above the desert. So it was almost like a self-contained universe. And the Siguri was a ship that orbited the Airtight Garage, and sometimes people will come out. But the thing about Moebius is it's so trippy. And this story, I remember, was he made it up as he went along. So there's like almost no continuity. But something about him I really like. I really like his inkall. It was a guy who lived in the Airtight Garage, found this like the Tesseract from Marvel Universe, and his powers. He got powers, but it mutated him. He did a couple stories for Marvel. And then I really liked his Lieutenant Blueberry stories. It was just cowboy story set in the West, like nothing trippy about it. You probably, if you're not familiar with him, you probably know him, then you don't realize it. He did a lot of the art design for the heavy metal cartoon, and was very influential in the heavy metal magazine. But this isn't his best work, and it really doesn't make any sense. I just remember this guy and this guy, or walking, I don't even know their names, I don't even know if they have names, but just walking through one of the layers of the Airtight Garage. You can see it's all paneled and dirty, and one guy's totally naked, the other guy's totally covered up, even a mask, and they're just losing it, and he finally rips the mask off his partner, and he's like, no, what have you done, and he just starts to mutate and freak out. And that's this installment. The Telephone, I remember this story. It reminds me of like a Edgar Allan Poe or an H.P. Lovecraft story. This wealthy man becomes obsessed with the fact that the world goes on after he dies. So rather than leave all of his money to his heirs, he hires a woman and he gets a telephone installed in his coffin, and he hires this woman operator. She comes to work every day and calls him and just reads the newspaper to him and talks to him. And this goes on for years and years until one day, hello, who is it? And she freaks out, wouldn't you? I mean, telephone, the dead. Turns out somebody who's breaking into his crypt, and he just answers the phone. And he's going, what a jerk I am. He goes, it's just a habit. The phone rings, you answer it. So now this woman, she goes to work every day. She was all, tedious job. Didn't care for that. Every day she goes to work. Hello, hello, hello. She's excited to talk to a dead person. But whatever. In Search of Peter Pan. This story, I think about it all the time. I gotta reread the ending because I forget how it ends. I don't even think I had the last couple of issues of this series. I bought a couple of back issues to finish it off because I want to know how this ends. So by Cozy, I don't even know who that is. But the premise of the story is this man, he's looking for his brother. Okay, he's a writer. He's a young writer. His father was a hard work. It's the same old trope. His father was a hardworking blue-collar worker, and he wanted his sons to follow in his footsteps because it was a good job, good life. But one son wanted to play music, and the other son wanted to write. And then I forget what happened. The father sold part of his business, and they became wealthy. So the father was like, go ahead, pursue your dreams. I always regret that I wanted to do something. I forget what the father wanted to do. So now the sons, who had this like blue-collar mentality, were all of a sudden given their chance to live the life that they wanted to. So the musician brother took off and said he wanted to write symphonies and everything like that. And he never saw his brother again. And his older brother was always playful and charming and everything like that. And he used to say that he was Peter Pan. He went off to Neverland and never grew up. So now he's looking for him, and he tracked down to this Swiss village. And he's just walking through the Swiss village when the police come and tell everybody that a glacier is about to crack off and destroy the town. It's going to start an avalanche. So everybody has to be evacuated. Now, while he was going through the town, he saw this beautiful girl swimming, bathing in the lake, and he just instantly fell in love with her. And he's been wandering this town, looking for this girl and his brother. And then he finds it heartbreaking that his brother, he played piano in a hotel and then owed a lot of people money. He lived extravagant. He would buy drinks for everybody and spend his tips, and so now he was borrowing money. And next thing you know, he's pressed into selling drugs for shady people, and he still doesn't know what happened to him. So now he's just wandering through the town because he's like, well, I want to find that girl. Something tells me that she didn't leave. So he's walking through. The police are making sure that everybody's evacuated. And I think something else is going on. He makes friends with this little pig that's always running around. And he sends the pig out to distract the police whenever they're getting close to him. And then he finds the girl. So the whole town, people just grab stuff and left because the avalanche can happen at any second. So he's just going and eating the food and drinking the wine and everything. And he finds these masks that in the basement. The cops are just hanging out, drinking wine. So he sends the pig out to distract the police so he can go someplace else. And here he finds the girl. This is the second time he found her. And they're hanging out, and the cops are drinking wine. The last issue, they had a nice candlelight dinner, and the police walked by. So now it got too close. They jump into the snow, and the police start following their tracks, and they're escaping. The police are chasing them, and they come to a river that she's on a lake. This is where he saw her bathing, and there's like this little winch thing with a boat, and they go off into the boat into this little cave, and she says, we're totally safe here. This is off the path. Even if there is an avalanche, we can hang out here. The story's winding down, but I just love the fact that he's looking for his brother. There's something magical about it. He has the whole town to himself. Just everybody left. He's just going around drinking the wine, eating cheese, having an extended, and there's something in his mind that's telling him that this isn't what he seems. That he keeps hearing cracks from the glaciers, but she tells him, no, we could just hang out here. So he found the beautiful girl that he's been looking for, and he heard this heartbreaking story that his brother kind of worked for a local drug, and then I really forget how it ends, or I don't even think I read how it ends. So I'm looking forward to when my back issues show up, and I'll finish that. And then this is Rourke. By Andreas. I have no recollection of this, so this story didn't really mean anything to me. But I always remember that Finding Peter Pan. I think it would make a wonderful movie. But you can see it's in black and white. The art, very European. The Europeans, and French in particular, their comic style is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's more like the Japanese, whereas they'll just put out like a big book of collected stories, or one guy will work on it for a year and then make a graphic novel of everything that his entire story all at once. Whereas the Americans will just, every month, Batman never ends. There's no end to the story. So they're almost like screenplays. Here's the back cover. I mean, all new story. It's kind of a weird issue. I could see if you don't like the art. I could see if you don't like the premise or anything. But there's some hidden gems in this. There's, at 37 issues, the story that I really remember the most was that Finding Peter Pan. There was another story about like hunting a serial killer in like at the same time as Jack the Ripper. I can't remember that name of that story, but that I remember. And then they did a comic adaptation of the Forever War, which I thought was just so well done and very, very, very sad. That story to me always makes me sad. I'm not going to spoil that because I think that's a new Chris Pratt movie coming out. But I read it here first, and then that got me interested in the story, and I read the book. But this is Cheval Noir, Black Horse, from Dark Horse Comics. I don't know what else to say to it. I'll recommend it only if you saw something that you really, really, really liked. I love it. It's different. Again, out of 37 issues, I got them all in the back issue bin for like $1 a piece. I wouldn't recommend getting them for $3 a piece. And this was 1992 that they were $3 a piece. So I imagine if places have them, they're probably like marked up or whatever. But I found them all on sale for like $1 a piece. I got like the first 28 issues, and then I got a couple of back issues at other stores that I hunted down. And I think the last issue was 40. So I got 2 more issues. I got 1 more issue that I've already read. I read up to 38, and then I think I got 2 more on the way, so I could finally figure out how it ended. But that's Cheval Noir by Dark Horse Comics. Dark Horse Comics is the same company that does Hellboy. So it's still around. I got nothing else to say about this. Okay, I hope you liked it. I know it's an acquired taste. All right, see you around. This is John Longbox. Bye-bye.